Well, there's something different about seeing an act and hearing it. I remember like Richard Pryor in the day. Unless you had HBO or you went to the movies, and when you were my age, I couldn't have got in anyways at that time. You hear these records, of this outlandish stuff being said, and you got to hide it from your mother and all that kind of stuff. Non-visual comedy, you're left a little bit to your imagination, and sometimes it's been funnier. Case in point, I had a Steve Martin comedy record when I was a kid. It was hilarious. I seen it live and it wasn't that funny. I don't know what was different.
Yeah, unless when you do a live CD, you can't really like pick on people in the crowd, because you could pick on a guy with a big head for 20 minutes and have the audience going crazy, but the person at home is not going to have any idea what you're referencing. But yeah, you're right. I think there is part of it that left to the imagination can, you can sort of imagine it in your own way. And I was like you, man. Richard Pryor, Cheech and Chong, George Carlin, Steve Martin, all those guys, just so huge, such huge influences in my life, man. And I used to listen to those guys like when I was like 11 or 12 years old, like in my room when my parents went to sleep, and I'd have my little Radio Shack tape recorder, with the little one earplug that went in your ear, and I'd hide it under the pillow and listen to all this really subversive humor, at an age where I don't even know if I really took it all in and understood it, especially the drug references, but I just knew I had found something amazing. And, that feeling never left me. And now I'm doing comedy 15 years, and, I hope somebody will, be listening to my album, in their room after their parents go to bed,
Right. Were you the type of kid that took that with you into the schoolroom?
Yeah, it was funny. I was never the class clown, like when they announced the class clown at the end of the year, because I was also a good student. So, I kind of got passed over for that. But yeah, I was subversive in my own way, and I definitely, kept people laughing. But I was also actually a good student. I actually even have a college degree.
No.
And now I'm going up in front of strangers every night trying to get their love and approval for a living. But that's just the way life went for me. So
most comedians, most comedians claim, and it stands to reason, were people who, for some reason, when they were kids, were attention seekers. So you weren't that way in the classroom, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I always was in school and stuff, but I thought I was gonna, I thought I'd be in a band because I play guitar, and I was in bands in high school and stuff, and I was like, I guess this is my creative outlet, but I kind of hit a wall as a guitar player, I just didn't have the full passion for it, so I was sort of like, all right, well, I could travel around in a van with guys trying to make it and lugging equipment, or I could just, put some dirty jokes in my back pocket and walk up to a mic and talk to people. And it seemed like the easier thing, although there's certainly nothing easy about doing comedy.
Well, you must have a knack for writing. Maybe that's something you did in college. I don't know, because you've won some awards for your writing, haven't you?
Well, yeah. Jim Florentine and myself won an Emmy, actually, for some comedy sketches that we did for HBO's Inside the NFL. We're big sports fans, so when they asked us if we wanted to, do sketches, sports-themed sketches for the show, we were like, sure, but never in our wildest dreams do we think us two idiots from New Jersey who think, fart and wiener jokes are funny, would ever take home such a prestigious award. But they loved their stuff, and HBO submitted it for Emmy consideration, and we won. So it's pretty awesome, man. I keep it right on my nightstand because I tell you, it's an absolute aphrodisiac when you have a woman over.
I bet. Yeah, Emmy Award winner.
Exactly. They think twice before they say no.
Right. What did that do for your stock aside from with women? But in the business, your stock had to rise as a writer.
No, just my mom calls back now. That's about it.
Okay.
It really hasn't done anything except it's an amazing accomplishment, and I'm so proud of it. But no, honestly, it's, the thing about comedy is like, and it's the same in metal or bands, when you any kind of live performance, you got to go improve it every night. You know, you could put my name up in lights, Emmy Award winning comedian Don Jamieson, but if I don't get up on stage and deliver, nobody's gonna care that I have a statue in my bedroom. You know, it might as well be a bowling trophy. So sure. You're always starting over every night. Now, of course, the good thing is because of the TV show, I'm now having actual fans come to see me specifically, as opposed to, just going and doing, a weekend at a comedy club, and people are just going out because they want to see comedy, and maybe one or two people go, oh, he's the guy from that show. It's nice now to have people coming to see me specifically. So the TV show has actually done a lot more for me than the Emmy has.
Well, that's put you out in front of millions of people. That it is tapped into people like me and people like yourself who are, I don't know your age. I'm about 41, and you're talking to these bands that are from our day. Like, I've seen George Lynch on there several times. I've already told you what a hero he was of mine. Loved tooth and nail. That was tremendous guitar work. But those type of people you're having on there, you've tapped into this generation that's kind of running the world at the moment.
Yeah, look, we're three guys in our mid-40s, and we're on a channel called VH1 Classic, so we were definitely appealing to that audience. I mean, we definitely try to mix in as many different styles of music as we can in one way or another, but the basis for the show and the appeal to the fans is the classic era of metal bands, and these are all the bands we like. And we're not, we know we're not 18-year-old hipsters on talking about what the latest cool indie bands are. It's like we're, like I said, we're guys in our mid-40s, and we love everything from Dokken to Slayer to Metallica to Poison, and everything in between. I'd see on your website you cover a pretty large, a lot of ground with the music that you cover, and we try to do that as much as possible, but still catering to that classic fan base.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if you got a chance to talk to any of the younger bands, like you said, if you've looked at my site, you'll see that there's some young hardcore bands on there, and I got to tell you, I'm a little out of touch with those guys.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Jim and I definitely, more than Eddie, try to check out as much new music as possible. But it's kind of a hard sell on the show. Although the show's an hour now, so we're able to now bring in a secondary guest, and I think that'll, in the future of the show, we'll be able to bring in a quote unquote newer band but maybe the primary guest is one of the bands that influenced them, and then you have that great give and take between the someone like, say, from Black Sabbath, like Bill Ward, and then somebody who he influenced, who's hot right now, comes on the show. So I think there's definitely room for the show to grow that way. But hey, it's impossible to keep up with everything out there,
Sure.
But metalheads are very loyal, man. We seek stuff out, and we try to give new music a chance when we can, and I think that's why the show has been successful, is because people have seeked us out, and I'm glad that they've stuck with us.